Hey guys, Skinny Elephant here, back for round 2 of the NHL Playoffs. I do apologize that we are behind. I know I said I was going to have it up on Thursday, but things came up during the week. So we're here now, a couple games into the second round, but we're still going to make our predictions anyways, because we like sports. Again, I'm with Seabass.
What's up, guys?
Right.
Alright, we're going to start off with New York Islanders and Tampa Bay. Damn, I think that really surprised the both of us. I was going for Panthers, and both of us are going for Detroit, and just Tampa showed them up. How do you feel about the
I
series?
picked the Islanders.
I know you picked the Islanders. Come on.
I picked the Islanders, so I'm cool with that. But no, the Tampa really... Ben Bishop and Tyler Johnson, Kucherov, and Jonathan Duran even really big player. There, you picked him as your X factor, and that was a very, very smart choice there. Jonathan Duran looks really good, and he's getting the ice time he deserves finally. And Ben Bishop did a really good job keeping them in. I feel that Detroit lacked depth as well. They lacked depth and just the firepower. I mean, they threw everything at the net, but they just couldn't cope, and goaltending difficulties as well and whatnot. So Tampa looked really well, and beat them in 5, which really surprised both of us. And Jonathan Drouin stepping up, Ben Bishop doing what he needs to do. Great forechecking team, great, really fast team. Tyler Johnson looking really good in the playoffs. First line in general looking really good in the playoffs. But the Islanders did what they need to do to scrape through. Jonathan Tavares having a very good playoff for the New York Islanders, stepping up when he needs to. I think goaltending is going to be an issue, though. Goaltending is going to be an issue for the Islanders. It's going to be, you have Thomas Greiss in there. When will Halak come back? Maybe second round, possibly. It's going to be very difficult to tell. But Thomas Greiss looked really shaky. They won the first game. Islanders won the first game. Second game, Greiss looked shaky at best, and Tampa took advantage of that. Duran leading in assists. I can't mention that guy enough. I mean, he's been phenomenal. Islanders though, the guys like Matt Martin, the guys like Kuhlman, you need those guys to win, and they're getting it done. And you gotta give them credit. They beat Florida. I felt they were inexperienced anyways, but the Islanders did what they need to do. Halak, if he comes back, I feel they will still win the Islanders, though. I feel they still will win. I'm saying the Islanders because they are a very tough team. They will knock you around. They don't care if they knock you on your ass or whatnot. They will do what they need to win. And I feel that's going to really help them in the end. Tampa will really, offensive in their scoring, and Ben Bishop will really keep them in it. And I feel this could even go to 7 games, possibly. Or maybe 6. I mean, a longer series, but I like the Islanders here. I feel they're going to do what it takes to get the win. Either one, I'm being honest, guys, either team, Tampa or Islanders, I don't think they're going to win the Cup. I don't think either of these teams are going to win. I like both the teams. I think they're strong teams. If Stamkos comes back in the 3rd round, if Tampa move on, possibly. But I feel that both of them are just going to move on. Either one that makes it through will just be eliminated by Pittsburgh or Washington. I'm just being honest. I feel that none of them have a chance to win. But I do like the Islanders in this series, and I'll take them in 6 because they will be at home for Game 6. So I like them then.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with Tampa. They really surprised me, especially coming with all those injuries. They've really kind of outshone themselves, and Ben Bishop, and I'm still going to go Duran. Tyler Johnson had a really great playoff. I think I'm agreeing with you, Game 6, Game 7, but I'm going Tampa. I feel like they feel like a little bit of underdogs. And looking at this too, what if Stamkos comes back? Maybe towards the end of the series, maybe beginning next series if they go through. He needs to play for a contract. Duran stepped in, and he's like,
he doesn't need to play for a contract.
No.
Let's be honest. I mean, he really needs to play for a contract. I think Eisman's just screwing him over.
No.
Let's be honest here. He's not screwing him over. He's just being.
I think you're misunderstanding my point here. I'm saying that he wants the money. He's playing for
He
the money.
deserves the money regardless.
No, he
of how
deserves
well
the money,
plays.
but guess what? Eiserman doesn't think the same way. So he's
Yzerman-
got to show it to him. He's got to show him. It's like, yo, like look at me right now. I deserve what I want to get, and
All you need to do is compare him to like everyone else in the league and be like, yo, Fanuff's making $7 million. Why am I not making like 10? Kopitar is just making 10 million. Like I don't understand that.
I
but-
personally
okay.
believe he's got to show it, because if not, he's gonna go Toronto. Either way, he's set going to either Toronto or Tampa, but he's got to show it. He's got to earn it. Yeah, he's a type of player that deserves it, but at the same time, look at this world. A lot of people, they don't get what they deserve. You got to work for it.
He'll
There's a
get what
lot
he
of like look at Fanuff. He's not worth $7 million.
Fanuff.
Like you got a lot of players being underpaid, but he's got to earn that contract. I think he's got to earn that contract, and if he does come back, he's gonna be a vital part of that. And
Put it this way, Fanuff has the greatest agent ever. To get him $7 million, he's got
Yeah.
a great agent. I mean, seriously.
I think Tampa's huge. I'm riding on Bishop and Drouin still. Like, he's really surprised me, and it's gonna be interesting. I don't think the pressure's getting to him yet. He's still getting a little cocky, and he's showing off, and he's showing what he can do. I think if they go
He
through
holds
next
on.
round, it's gonna be a completely different story how he handles the pressure. But I'm going Tampa here, so
Alright.
it's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be
And
very
then-
interesting.
You know what? Yeah, so we'll see what happens. And then our next series we'll have is the Washington Capitals against the Pittsburgh Penguins. I think that's one of the most interesting series so far. How do you feel about that?
Every series is really a toss-up. I mean, you could either go any way, any of the series. I mean, it's not like, the last couple of years it's been Chicago, LA. This is a really, this is a toss-up. It could either one could win. And, this one is very difficult to say. It's obviously the Crosby-Ovechkin battle. It's TJ Oshie stepped up big in the first game, played really well. Second game, it was just Pittsburgh looked more dominant. They looked like they wanted it more. And I feel that Matt Murray is really inexperienced. Don't get me wrong, he's a really good goalie, and he'll be really good in a couple of years. But he seems really inexperienced right now. He's played phenomenal for Pittsburgh, but Holtby looks really good. He looks just calm, cool, collected every time. He doesn't get beat that often, and when he does get beat, it's usually a puck he doesn't see, or a deflection or whatnot. And I feel that goaltending experience is really going to help him out a lot. Defensively, probably Pittsburgh, better defensively anyways, or Chris Letang, and Ollie Mata's really young, but he's looking really good out there. A couple mistakes in game one. But TJ Oshie for Washington's really stepped up when he needed to be. Ovechkin's not getting the goals, but he's doing what you need to win. He's getting the hits, he's making the big plays, blocking the shots, he's doing what you need to do to win. And I guess he's finally come to learn what the C means, what it means to be a captain for that team. He's no longer a selfish player. Yeah, he'll take the shot, but that's every goal scorer. Every goal scorer is going to take that shot. And he's going to lead that team, I feel, over Pittsburgh. Like I said, it's mainly Holtby. Holtby, to me, looks like the goaltender to take Washington to the cup, possibly. Maybe get him that elusive cup, get Ovi that cup. And Holtby's done what he did. He basically bailed them out in the first round. If it wasn't for him, those first two games, it could have been really different. It would have been different if Neuwirth would have played over Mason. If Mason didn't play for Philly, if Neuwirth would have stepped in, it would have been a completely different scenario here. But, Holtby bailed them out in that first round. And he's bailing them out again. And I really feel that he'll help them win. Matt Murray, again, a couple years down the road, he'll be exceptional for him and maybe take him to win a cup or something like that. Crosby, Malkin, Hornquist, all those guys, Kessel, stepping up for Pittsburgh, doing what they need to do to get wins. But I feel that Washington, and this is Ovi's year, they look really good. They do what it takes to win. They have big guys over 6'2", 200 pounds, big bodies out there throwing hits, and it's really helping them out. And I feel it's going to wear and tear Pittsburgh down towards the end of the series there.
I agree with most of your points there. I think it's going to be really interesting. To me, I think another huge deciding factor, we mentioned this in the first round, Washington has a history of being choke artists. And I think that is going to be the biggest thing. I think that's going to make them or break them.
Never had a goalie like Holtby though.
No, like, again, I agree with you. But you know what? It's right now. They have to let it sink in, because they've choked, and they need to get in their heads like, okay, we're going to crash and burn again, or like we're not going to let this happen. I'm not saying Pittsburgh's a bad team. They're a very good team. Like, they're both up there to win it.
Yeah, they're both really good. Yeah,
and you know, personally, I'm going to go for Pittsburgh. I think this is Crosby's year. He's had a really phenomenal year.
He's already won.
No, he's already won. Like I said, that's another important thing too. He's already won, and he knows what it takes to win. But, you know, he's got a lot of slack by the media and the fans, and especially with Canadians here. You know, like, we praise him, and then we can just literally just all turn against him, and that's not right. And he's really kind of coming to his own this year. It's probably been one of his best seasons to date. He's been really great, and, you know, goaltending is a huge issue. Again, Holtby is going to be the biggest breadwinner for Washington. He's going to be really big for them, but I think it's up to the coach and the mentality, and Ovechkin too. He's got to go to the guys like, yo, let's do this. It's unacceptable. You know, game 6, game 7 is like, okay, he's going to step up. He's going to get in there. And me, personally, if Washington goes through, this is an earliest prediction, but if Washington goes through, I think they're going to finally break that cycle, and I think they're going to win it. I'm calling them, if they beat Pittsburgh, they're going to win it, but I'm calling for Pittsburgh to win the series. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens there. You know, it's like I said, this is probably one of the tightest series so far. It's a toss-up, and both of them should be to the finals and win it. So it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, like I said, I don't see New York or Tampa really beating Washington or Pittsburgh.
Nope.
Either one that moves on from the series is going to the final. Like, I'm being honest. But hey.
Unless they show us up, but yay, it's all.
We've seen crazier things already, so
yeah.
See what happens.
And then, all right, it's gonna be very interesting.
There we go.
Western Conference, yeah, Western Conference. I'm actually really stoked. I called Dallas. They went through, and Chicago both surprised us. You have a different opinion on that than I do, but you know, it's gonna be a really interesting series. How do you feel about that?
You know, St. Louis did really, really well of containing. They played very strong defensively. Pietrangelo came back, Shattenkirk came back, and they played very good defensively for the St. Louis Blues. And they looked very strong for checking and just doing what you need to do to win. Chicago, what their problem was, they entered the playoffs with this, we're the champs, we're good, we don't need to do anything, you know. They came in with this too cool for school attitude. And they were just blown away in the first 4 games. They went down 3-1, and they finally woke up. They threw everything at Elliott. And Brian Elliott, I'm not trying to knock him here. You know, I don't personally think he's that great of a goalie, but he's done what they need to do to win in the first round. He faced over almost 40 shots a game, did exceptionally well. He faced 40 shots in Game 1 against Dallas. And he's done everything you need for a goalie. He's done everything a goaltender can do for his team to win. That's what I was trying to say. And Dallas, I picked Minnesota. That was probably the biggest long shot of the whole first round, Minnesota. They didn't have Parise or Vanek or guys like that. But Dallas was really shaky. I feel their main issue is goaltending, first of all. And they kind of play like the Liverpool. They're kind of the Liverpool of hockey. They outscore their opponents. If they don't have the strongest defensive depth, their goaltending is Antti Niemi and Kari Lehtinen. You know, 2 Finnish goaltenders, and they're not terrible goalies. They're not terrible goalies by any means. Niemi helped Chicago win a cup years ago, but they're not gonna get you to. I can't see them winning the final with those 2 goalies, or winning the cup with those 2 goalies, and their lack of defensive depth. That's really going to hurt them. I feel like St. Louis will overpower them for that reason. Their depth is incredible. They have a lot of depth. I'm not trying to bandwagon them. Like I said, Chicago. I felt sure they won that series. They did a really good job containing Chicago, and their depth outside of Chicago now that they're eliminated, or it's probably one of the best depth in the playoffs. Most depth teams, deepest teams in the playoffs there, with 4 solid lines, 3 solid defensive lines. Goaltending, who knows with Elliott? Could this just be once in a lifetime moment for Brian Elliott here, or will he continue the rest of the playoffs? It's gonna be interesting, to say the least. I feel that Dallas, like I said, if they don't outscore their opponents, and that's much tougher now without Sagan. Probably the stupidest thing they could have done was bring Sagan back in the first round. That was so pointless. You didn't need him. There was no reason to bring him back early. You didn't need the guy. You just brought him back. He tore his Achilles. And why even bother bringing him back? Such a waste. Now he's out for the second round. Well, not out, but he could be back any time in the second round. But he's not going to be the same. He's gonna shoulder his wear and tear, and it's gonna really affect Dallas. That they're not gonna be scoring. They'll still probably outscore St. Louis, possibly. They're going to play a really strong defensive game, St. Louis. Brian Elliott's going to do what he can. And I like St. Louis in this one. Their depth is going to... They're going to knock Dallas around. They got big guys. They're going to hit them. They're going to knock them around. And that's going to help them. They're going to wear and tear them down. And even if Dallas does move on, they're going to be dead after the series. They're going to be really exhausted. And I can't see them moving on after this. So I feel St. Louis has the best bet from a depth. When it comes to the deepest teams, I feel they have the best chance of winning the cup right now. But we'll see from then on. They 1-1 in the series. Well, they're winning 3-1 right now, so I figured they're going to win. Let's be honest, probably going to win Game 2 here. And it's going to be 1-1 heading back to St. Louis, and they're going to look really good then on, and I feel St. Louis will win this one. Maybe in 6, maybe 5, who knows, we'll see. I think 6, because it'll be at home for Game 6.
Again, I'm actually going to stick with Dallas.
Of course you do.
I personally am quite fond of really young firepower. And, before the playoffs started, we're talking about Dallas and how they don't really have the defense to do it. And like I said, they've outperformed themselves, considering what was expected of them. And I think they could potentially do it again in this series. Like, I agree with you that St. Louis has the better depth, offensively and defensively. But, they have a really killer first 2 lines, and, their third and fourth lines aren't that bad. And they've actually been playing quite well for them. And I'm going more on a gut feeling for Dallas here. It's not a head thing. It's not a kind of, based off intelligence or like stats or anything. I don't know why, but my gut's screaming Dallas. I'm thinking 6 or 7. Like, there's been a lot of long series here, and I think
There's been 2.
Okay.
No.
Bad.
There's been 2 Game 7s and I think a Game 6. No, 2 Game 6s.
All right.
3 Game 6s. Yeah, this guy, there has been a few.
That is kind of a lot, though.
There has been a few long ones, I guess.
Substantial now.
Yeah,
but
2 Game 7s, which is...
I just have a really, really good feeling for Dallas. I think they're going to get through. I think Elliott won't be able to handle their offensive power. And it's honestly, like, I don't know what to say about it. It's just a gut feeling. I just really, really like Dallas. And I don't think they're going to do, if they move on, I don't think they're going to do that great. But, like, right now, I'm really feeling them. And I'm just going off that feeling alone. So, again, it's going to be really interesting to see. And, yeah. Next series, I'm happy. I'm stoked. I did not expect Nashville to get through. I'm really ecstatic that they did.
I don't think many people expected Nashville to get through.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not complaining. They're through. It's going to be a very, very interesting series. Like, for me personally. I don't know about everyone else, but, what's your thoughts on that?
San Jose did a very good job. Not Matt Martin. He plays for Islanders. Marty Jones played very good
Mm-hmm.
for the San Jose Sharks in that first round. And I feel that he is the X factor here for San Jose for a few reasons. He stepped up when needed to. He kept them in the game at times. Usually, there aren't many pucks if he'll let in, unless obviously every goaltender, if you can't see the puck, it's going to go in. But, he played really well. He's a big guy. He's 6'4" in net. And he looked really sharp, looked on the ball at times. He outdueled Jonathan Quick, which is not an easy thing to do. And he really did a good job there. San Jose just wanted it more, I can tell you. They just wanted it more. And they seem to want it more now against Nashville. As you said, game one, the score didn't tell the whole story. They scored 2 empty netters, or 3 empty netters.
I think it's
Was it 2 empty netters, San Jose? It didn't tell the picture. The score didn't tell the whole picture. But, San Jose, I feel, will win this one. And again, I'm not trying to knock Nashville. I feel that was a fluke when they beat Anaheim. Not so much a fluke, but if Anderson would have started off the series, it would have been a different series, to say the least. But if Nashville's defense bailed them out, Shea Weber, Roman Josi, Ryan Ellis, those guys bailed out Nashville. Absolutely bailed them out. And they look really sharp. Philip Forsberg looks like a dynamic player. A franchise player, to say the least. Him and Ryan Johansson are having an incredible partnership for years to come. And it's going to be exciting to watch those two together. But this just isn't their year. It's just not their year this year in Nashville. Rene has looked subpar at best. He hasn't looked fantastic by any means, but he's looked okay. I think the only game he really, really played well was maybe Game 5. Game 6. He didn't play too poorly. But he didn't look like the sharpest goaltender out there. And I think Marty Jones is going to outduel Pekka Rene again. Or not again, but he'll outduel Pekka Rene. And San Jose will just do what they need to win. They're playing the nitty-gritty game. Joe Pavelski's having incredible playoffs. He always steps up in the playoffs. Had a very good first round with 6 goals, I believe, or so. And they have 3 very solid lines, San Jose. Again, will any team from this series win the cup? I don't know, probably not. San Jose, possibly. Maybe, I can't see Nashville really winning if they move on from here, but anything can happen. Like, the defense is really going to help them. That's all I'm going to say for Nashville. The defense, their very strong defense will help them out. And if they do win, it'll be because of that. But San Jose is a very strong road team. And when they go on the road, I feel they will win at least 2 games in Nashville. If it goes to 7, they'll win 2 of those games in Nashville. And that's really going to benefit them in the end. I like San Jose in this one. I like them in... I don't want to say 5 because it sounds insulting, but I'll say 5. I feel that they will not walk over Nashville, but they'll be much better than Nashville will, and they'll outscore them and just outplay them completely. And as I'm talking bad about Nashville, they'll probably win this one because I talked bad about them against Anaheim. So
all I can say for right now is I'm really happy. I'm really happy that Nashville went through. And hey, I do like the fact that you talked bad about Nashville too, because usually when you talk smack about a player or team, they usually like to show you up one. So I'm hoping for that one.
As soon as I said something, they're probably going to win this series.
Hey, and I think my head's going all over the place right now. There's a lot of things to think about, a lot of little tiny key factors that I think are going to be really important. Again, I agree with you that San Jose, I'm not going against Nashville, but I feel that San Jose has the legitimate chance to go through them. You did say that they're a better away team, but at the same time, Nashville has been a really, really good away team as well. Obviously, not to the level of San Jose, but they've been really consistent and shown up away.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, Rene hasn't had the greatest playoffs so far. I was discussing this with a friend earlier, and I have to agree with him. He said that Nashville just don't look the same. They've always had the defensive tact behind them that always kept them in, and they made Rene look like a really, really top goalkeeper. And now they're trying to play more offensive, especially when you guys got like Forsberg, because they picked up Johansson, and we have Neil. They're changing the play style, and then they're exposing Rene, and he does not look like the goalie that he used to be. He's still a really good goalie, but not to the hype that he was lived up to. And I hope he was wrong. I hope Rene just a little shaky. He's nervous, but we have to wait and see. Again, I'm going to go San Jose because they've just been tearing him up. It's the same points I was making earlier with Washington, how they have that kind of choke. They kind of have that aura around them, that kind of label, and they don't like that. And I think San Jose more than Washington really wants to break that. They have the attitude, they have the Nick grit, and they look pissed. And they're just fed up. They're like, this is unacceptable. We're going to go for it. They're pushing. They push LA around. They're really strong in the forecheck. Put really good shots in that. They created really good chances. And the defense has been decently solid. And Jones is phenomenal. He just was a scare. I was never watching some of those games, and Jones just robbed them some LA sometimes. And yeah, Nashville. There's a few things that they need to work on if they're going to get through. Defense, yes, obviously is going to really pull them through, but I think their offense is going to be a thing too. At the beginning, the early stages of the first round, Johansson, Neil, they weren't really doing anything. They just looked transparent. They looked like they're there. Most of the time I saw Arvidsson and Yarn Krok and all those other guys. I didn't see those guys anywhere. They just looked silent. And towards the end of the series, they got some points in, and it's up to them to keep that going, to keep that momentum going. And then there's another factor that Nashville has been putting the pressure on Anaheim. They've been pushing pressure on the teams. I think their biggest issue is putting the puck at the back of the net. They take all these shots, but the chances that they make, they aren't really that great. Yeah, you get a good shot off, create 40 shots a game, but they're not scaring the goalie. And especially when you got a guy like Jones.
They have 40 shots a game?
First 2 games, 4 shots a game.
They had 40 shots in the first 2 games?
Yeah. And, they...
Genuinely? Legit? Yeah. Seriously? Okay.
Close to. 30, they're up there. But...
I didn't think Gibson faced that many shots in the first 2 games.
They put a lot of shots in net, but, they're just really blank shots. They're really easy saves, and they gotta really scare them. They gotta be more clinical when they finish on offense, and it's honestly, a lot of it attributes to that. Another thing too, they're not playing with confidence. Yeah, they have energy. They're really playing good on offense. They're just kind of putting it into the team, but at the same time, they're not playing with a chip on their shoulder. They're just playing this whatever, and I think that's the biggest issue.
Tell that to Shea Weber.
I'm talking about the team here.
I was gonna say,
talking about the team. The team is more than just one player. And
not when you're Shea Weber.
I still think Yossi's had a better playoff so far. Weber's my favorite player, but
points wise, probably.
Hey, but I don't know. I've been watching them play, and they just their head's not in it. They look around. They look like some games. There's instances where I'm looking at Nashville, and they look like they're playing minors. Not skill wise, but they're falling over, they're slipping, and it's all that stupid childish stuff. It's you're professionals. And they look amateurs at times, and that's honestly, it's kind of embarrassing as a Nashville fan. And they really got to get their head together. And if they don't get their head straightened out, they have no chance of going through. And I'm really rooting for them. And I don't think they're going to go through, but I'm going to be the 100% away. But they got to get their act together. Rene has to pick up and not kind of get shown out. It's going to be interesting. I'm going Game 6. I'm going to say San Jose is going to go through, but hey, I'm going to cross his fingers again for Nashville and see what happens. Yeah, is there anything else you have to add, or?
It's been entertaining, to say the least, so far, these playoffs. Philadelphia, Washington was a better series than many of us thought it would be. Same as Anaheim, Nashville. It was a lot better. It was a better series than we thought it would be. It should be entertaining from here on, to say the least. who's gonna win this year? It's really, like I said, it's a toss up. It's a toss up between all 8 teams. There's teams I don't feel that well. Like I said, Tampa and whoever wins Tampa and Islanders, I don't feel they're gonna win the cup. But you never know. Stranger things have happened, so it'll be interesting to say the least. I guess that's the end of our video, guys. Next video will probably be Champions League, a recap of the semifinals there, most likely. So we were going to do a draft lottery video, but we're going to save that later on for when the draft comes up and whatnot. You know, and then we can go more in depth and player for player analysis and whatnot. So we're going to save that for in June when the draft happens and whatnot. Next one will probably be Champions League, as I just said. So look forward to that one. Again, if you guys enjoyed the video, just simply just like and subscribe it. Subscribe to us. I mean, we do appreciate. I think we're up to almost 10 subscribers now, which I guess isn't terrible.
We really started like what, 2 weeks ago?
I mean, yeah, we started a couple weeks ago, so we're trying to put more videos out every week. We're gonna try anyways. I mean, things come up, whatever, but we're gonna try and get at least 1 to 2, at least 1 anyways, out each week. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.